South Carolina man to be executed despite innocence admission from a key witness. This is really important to pay attention to because the timeline is as small as possible here. Okay. It's unbelievable this is happening. Put it up full mass. Khalil Divine Black Soon Allah is his name. He was previously known as Freddie Owens. Many know him as Freddie Owens. Is set to be executed today in South Carolina. Mr. Soon Allah's execution will be the first in 13 years in South Carolina. It could be the start of numerous executions in the coming months. The execution is set to take place today despite new evidence that brings significant doubt about critical testimony used to secure the conviction. On Wednesday, 2 days before the scheduled execution, Golden signed a bombshell affidavit recanting his testimony. Mr. Golden, who they used to secure this conviction, signed an affidavit. What is an affidavit? An affidavit is a statement under oath which requires the penalty of prison if you commit perjury on the affidavit. In other words, he didn't sign a letter. He didn't write an email. He didn't send a text message. He didn't use a social media post. He signed under penalty of perjury and imprisonment a statement that said he's an innocent man. I lied. Quote, Mr. Allah is not the person who shot Irene Graves. Let's put this up. You can't get clearer than that. He says, this is not the person who shot Irene Graves and was not present during the robbery. Golden's declaration said he was high when police questioned him days after the robbery, and that he was pressured into writing a statement blaming Mr. Soon Allah. Quote, I substituted Mr. Soon Allah for the person who was really with me, he wrote, saying he concealed the identity of the real shooter out of fear that his associates might kill him. Quote, I don't want Mr. Soon Allah to be executed for something he didn't do, he wrote in the new affidavit. Quote, this has weighed heavily on my mind, and I want to have a clear conscience. Golden said he agreed to plead guilty and testify when prosecutors assured him that he would not face the death penalty, so he was pressured. But that wasn't enough. The state attorney general filed a response on Thursday suggesting Golden's new statement was not credible and did not warrant a new trial. Let me say this. The individuals who prosecuted, the individuals who are now in charge, all of them, from the tapestry of beginning to now, out of everybody, the person who provided, according to his own words, who provided the false testimony is the only one who has come forward with a conscience to say, what I did was wrong. Now, many would say, well, that man is a criminal. He was part of the criminal underworld, but the man is a good man today. I can't say the same for those who are still in that prosecution's office. I can't say the same for the judges who have decided to turn their back on the reality that there may be something here that is worthy of a stay of execution. And what are you in a hurry for? You can't take a day or two, a week, a month in order to get it right? What are you rushing for? Second angle, now South Carolina is rushing to execute more people. South Carolina is pursuing a lot of executions at a time when use of the death penalty and its support among Americans is declining. The state now instructs death row prisoners with execution dates to choose the method they will be killed: lethal injection, electrocution, or firing squad. Soon Allah objected to signing the form authorizing one of those options. Suicide is a violation of his Muslim faith. So when he signs this, he's signing basically a suicide declaration. Yes, 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 yes. Kill me this way. He says, I'm not signing that. It is against my religion to commit suicide. 29 states have abolished capital punishment or instituted a moratorium on execution. Why? One, it does not prevent heinous murder. It doesn't. They say, oh, this is going to be a deterrent. Well, why is it that only the Republican states have the highest murder rates in the United States of America? And the states that don't have an execution at all have the lowest murder rates in the United States of America? Look up the details. Half of America say they believe the death penalty is unfairly applied. That's another reason why it has lost, obviously, its popularity for those who even wanted it in the beginning. The state Supreme Court recently announced the next 5 executions to be scheduled, saying they would be spaced at least 35 days apart. Civil rights organizers and faith leaders have called on Henry McMaster, South Carolina's Republican governor, to grant Mr. Sunala clemency. That is his final recourse. The governor's office did not respond to inquiries, and the attorney general's office declined to even make a comment, and the execution is hours away. This is about the lack of value, not just for Black life, but for humanity itself. To the person who did the wrong thing and now has come out under this affidavit declaration and did the right thing, there are people who may blame you, and you are responsible for your actions to the degree that you understood them. But you are still a better man than every single one of those judges and prosecutors who will let this man die because they just can't wait to kill somebody. Senator, thoughts?
Yeah, they bloodthirsty, Doc.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a miscarriage of justice. So those who believe in true justice would have to say that we need a stay of execution. I hope the governor does the right thing. You're right about Golden. I wish he had came forward, maybe 2 weeks ago, three
Yeah.
days ago. He did come forward. He should get credit for that. You're right. He's showing more integrity than they had. And I think there's a lot to what he had to say in terms of being pressured by law enforcement.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. Not that all law enforcement does it, but it does happen far too often, and it
Yeah.
really is a shame. Heavy heart over this. And that is why, yeah, the death penalty, it is not meted out fairly. And why we got to kill folks anyway. I mean, if
Right.
somebody did commit a heinous crime who needs to be locked up, just lock them up forever. I mean, that's torture. Why
Yeah, it
let them
is.
off the hook? That's
Yeah.
one way to look at it. Why let somebody off the hook instead of letting them live out the rest of their days in that kind of tortured situation? But let me come back to this case. This is beyond sad, Doc, and we know many, many people are in this same situation when you have a legal system that does not, for the most part, give a damn about justice. And justice is not being served in this case.
Well said. And I want to remind everyone watching, Mr. Golden not only said that he lied, he also said, I know who did it. I concealed their identity out of fear of being killed myself. He can solve the crime. They're not even concerned about that. All right.